All right, guys, welcome to the FlexCandle live technical analysis show, episode number 3. In today's episode, we're going to be going over the Palantir stock, Bitcoin, XRP, IBM, Microsoft. And if you guys have any stocks or crypto that you want me to go over, go ahead and drop it in the chat or in the comment section, and I'll be glad to go over it after the live is ending here. Now, let's start off actually with Bitcoin. And right now, the price of Bitcoin is at 61,538. And let's take a look at the monthly chart. We closed very bearishly here in the month of June. Is a giant red engulfing candle here. Luckily, we were able to bounce off so far off of this 50 moving average at 59,872. But we did get down as low as 58,000. Now, for July, we're bouncing up so far, but we still have a whole month to see what's going to end up happening. Now, we take a look at the Stochastic RSI. They're kind of rolling over, so that's looking a little bit bearish to me. If we lose this 50 moving average, we're going to go down to this 80 moving average, which is basically at 48,860. So that's not going to be good for the bulls of Bitcoin. If we go over to the weekly chart, we see that the Stochastic RSI still need more time to reset here before we start moving up, and we did lose this 200 moving average, which is very bearish. Now, again, this week we're starting to get a green candle. Can we make tweezer bottoms here and get back above this 200 moving average, and then ultimately back above this 21 moving average and start getting a little bit more bullishness here? If we could do that, we could possibly do a double bottom. One bottom, maybe this could be the second bottom, and then eventually this could break us back up above this 50 moving average, which is at 88,584, and maybe that'll be the end of the bear market. But if we cannot get back above this 200 moving average, it looks like we might go down for some lower prices. Right now, this is kind of looking to me like a bear flag that went sideways and we kind of broke down from, and we're trying to retest it now. And if we can, we possibly are going to roll over. Take a look at the daily time frame. This candle is going to close in the next 25 minutes or so. And right now we're getting a green candle. Yesterday we had a green candle, but look, we're getting rejected off of the 21 moving average at 62,486. I'm liking that the RSI is pointing up, but I would like to get back above this 50 on the RSI. I like that the stochastics are pointing up. If we don't roll over, maybe we could pierce this 21 moving average, get back towards this 50 moving average at $67,803, and again create some type of a double bottom, and we could go back and test this 200 moving average, which is at 75k. Even if we get rejected, that'll be a nice healthy little boost back up. We can make some gains doing that. Now ultimately, this is kind of like a head and shoulder pattern, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, that we started breaking down from. And if we cannot get back above this 21 moving average, all we're really doing is testing that neckline. So if we get rejected, we could continue going down on this head and shoulder pattern. Again, this is kind of like a bear flag. If I put on the patterns here, I have various bear flags showing that we're coming down. This was the first bear flag. And as you can see, we already made about half of the measure move here. This turned into another little mini bear flag. We pierced it, but now we're coming back up. Again, if we lose this 21 moving average, we're gonna get back into this bear flag and then make the rest of this measure move. This one will take us down to like about 56, and this one ultimately brings us down all the way to about 49,000 and change, 50,000. And then ultimately on the weekly, as you guys see here, I had a bigger bear flag that has already broken all the way down. This one also takes us to about 50k. So 50k is still in the works. If we cannot get back above 74k, I would honestly say anything going up still would be kind of like a relief rally. I would like to get back above 74k. That's heavy resistance that we have up there. Now let's take a look at the 8-hour time frame, and on the 8-hour time frame, we see that the stochastics are getting a little toppy here. The RSI is above the 50. I'm liking that. But look, we got rejected off of this 50 moving average at 61,955. If we roll over, we need to hold this 21 moving average as support. That's at 60,044. We honestly do not want to lose 60,000, because right now we could range between 60, 65, or maybe even between 60 and 70. We lose 60k, we're playing into the 50 to 59k territory, and we're not going to want to do that. On the 4-hour time frame, the stochastics here are toppy, and we're seeing like we're getting a double hump here. So this looks like it might want to roll over. We got rejected off of this 100 moving average. We have not been able to get back above this 200 moving average for a while. That's at 63,524. Ultimately, we would have to get back above this 200 moving average on the 4-hour time frame to get bullish. Look, we lost this all the way back in May 15th around then. Ever since then, we have not been able to get back above the 200 moving average. We're trying to get close to it now, but we're still pretty far away. We need to get back above this 200 moving average with strength, and then maybe we could start tapping into the 70K region. Take a look at the 1-hour time frame. The 1-hour time frame has been pretty good today. We got above the 21, above the 200 moving average, and I like that this white line, the 21 moving average, crossed up on the 200 moving average. That is bullish. Now the stochastics are resetting, and we're still above the 21 moving average. That is also bullish. So if we draw here some type of a flag, let's see what the measure move to this would be. And this could possibly take us, let's do the whole pole here. If we are a little bullish here, maybe for the holidays, let's see what ends up happening. Even though the volume now, because of July 4th, is probably going to be low, so we might not even get this whole full measured move. But if we could get half of it, it'll be something. The measure move is telling us that it's taking us to about 63,300, around there, 63,300, which will pretty much take us to the 200 moving average on the 4-hour time frame. So maybe we have one move up to the 200 moving average on the 4-hour, and then from there we're probably going to roll over, and then hopefully we could stay above this 100 moving average and see if we could continue going up from there. So this could be the next possible play here for Bitcoin, possibly trying to tap above $63,000. Take a look at the 15-minute time frame. Stochastics were on the way down, but look, we're curving back up. That's pretty good. The RSI is still under 50. We could get above 50. We might be able to make the rest of this measured move here. Like today, we had a lot of opportunity to lose this 200 moving average, and we've been able to stay above it. So Bitcoin right now looks short-term bullish to possibly go above 63K. But overall, we're still bearish. We cannot break certain levels. We will probably go to 50K in the long run. So let's see what ends up happening. Now let's take a look at XRP. I haven't looked at XRP in a very long time. Let's see what's happening with this. Now, the thing with altcoins is that if Bitcoin is not doing well, most of the altcoins won't be doing well either. So if Bitcoin starts doing good, we might get a pump for XRP. So let's see here. For the monthly, we're well below the 21 moving average, which is at $2.01. Right now, we're at $1.08. And we briefly lost the 50 moving average in June. Now we're starting to get a little green candle. We're still below the 50 moving average. Now, one thing that we have going for us is that we are far away from the 21 moving average. So we could possibly get a nice little pump towards it, or possibly go sideways and wait for the 21 moving average to catch up to price. The stochastics are low, but this could drag here for a while. We're below the 50 on the RSI. So overall, it's still a little bit bearish here. Take a look at the weekly chart. Weekly chart looks similar to Bitcoin. We lost the 200 moving average. Stochastics are low here. We're on the floor on the RSI, so we could possibly get a move back up. If we could get back above this 50 moving average, which is at $1.96, again, XRP could zoom back up, but it's going to take a lot for that to happen. First, we have to get back above this 200 moving average, which is major resistance. Take a look at the daily chart here. And on the daily chart, we are getting a green candle. I'm liking that we still have room to go up on the RSI and on the stochastics RSI. Now, ultimately, we need to get back above this 50 moving average and ultimately back above this 200 moving average at $1.50. We can't do that. We're still going to be in a bear market here for XRP. On the 4-hour time frame, we see here that the stochastics are toppy. We can see major rejection off of this 100 moving average. We ultimately went up to $1.11. So we're at $1.08. We fell down below a little bit. We're being held up by this 80 moving average. Now, if we roll over, we need to hold up above this 21 moving average at $1.05. I would think that we're probably going to lose this 80 moving average since the stochastics are toppy here and probably test that $1.05 level again. And if we could hold that, maybe we can make a run for this 200 moving average, especially if Bitcoin's going to be making a run for the 200 moving average. So 200 moving average here is at $1.14 for XRP. Take a look at the 1-hour chart. It's pretty similar to Bitcoin. We're bouncing off of the 21 moving average. Stochastics are low. RSI is pointing up. This is also looking to me kind of like a nice little falling wedge here that already started to break out. So let's take a look at what the measured move of this flag falling wedge would be. Let's do a little bit conservatively here because the volume is pretty low, so we don't know if we're gonna get the full measured move, but let's see. The good thing is that we are holding above the 21 moving average, and if this pattern does work out, we're already starting to do the breakout here, and I'm liking that the stochastics are low. This could bring us, yeah, to 112. And if we take a look at the 4-hour time frame, same thing to like Bitcoin, is pretty much taking us to the 200 moving average. Now, if we get to this measured move, we pretty much are going to fly to this 200 moving average. So it looks like we could make it to $1.14 on XRP as long as we could hold certain levels. Take a look at the 15-minute chart. Stochastics are starting to get a little toppy. And look, we are having resistance here on the 50 moving average at $1.08. So this is the resistance right now. We could break above the $1.08. Then it looks like we could maybe fly up to $1.12, possibly even $1.14. All right, guys. So let's get into the stocks now. Let's take a look at the Palantir stock. And Palantir right now is at $129.30. And right now, for the month of June, we look really, really bad here. We got below the 21 moving average, and now for July, we're trying to see if we could get back above it. Now the 21 moving average is at $133.19. The RSI is bouncing off the 50, so that's pretty good. The stochastics are still low. This could drag here for a while, so it's imperative that we get back above this 21 moving average. Now ultimately, I do have this kind of like in a falling wedge. Let's take a look at what the measured move for this would be. This shows that it could take us back up to about $244, $245. And as you can see, we are tracing the falling wedge. This does give it room for us to still come a little bit lower. We could even go below $100 and still end up making this massive move back up eventually. Again, this is the monthly chart, so this could take a couple months to play out. Let's take a look at the weekly chart here. Now the weekly, the stochastics are starting to reset. We're starting to point up. I would like to get above this 50 on the RSI. And right now we're trying to get a green candle for the ending of this week. We got back above the 100 moving average. It was looking bad. This was looking like a rounded top. They say rounded tops don't pay the bills. We got tweezer tops here, a big rejection off of the 50. We're below the 50. That's a bear market for this asset. We lost the 80, the 21, and we briefly lost the 100. So if we cannot stay above this 100 moving average, we're probably going to fall here to this 200 moving average to $75. So let's see what ends up happening. We ultimately have to get back above this 21 moving average at 138 and ultimately above this 50 moving average to remain bullish for Palantir. Now we take a look at the daily time frame. The stochastics are starting to come up. Until we get here, we could drag here for a little bit. The RSI is starting to pierce the 50. That's good. And we're starting to get back above this 21 moving average. Now, we could get back above this 21 moving average. Ultimately, we have to go back and test this 200 moving average at 157. Now, what I'm seeing here is that maybe, it's not confirmed, but maybe this could turn into some type of an inverted head and shoulder. Left shoulder, this could be the head. And maybe we could make the right shoulder if we play around just a little bit underneath the 21 moving average. And this measured move could pretty much take us back up to this 200 moving average. So that's something that could happen. Let's see what happens though, because the stochastics here are a little bit toppy. Now, ultimately, I did have this in the last episode in a head and shoulder pattern. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And we did make some of this measured move here. Let's see what the whole measured move to this was. Sorry, these things are getting stuck here. So let's go all the way down. So this would actually bring us as low as $90. And we fell all the way down to 106. The neckline was pretty much at 131. So that's not a bad, that's pretty much a winning trade here. We made about half of the measured move. So if you guys took that head and shoulder pattern from the episode that I made on Palantir, congratulations, that was a pretty good win. But now it looks like we're bouncing back up from there. So we might not be making the rest of this measured move. We are kind of testing the neckline. So if we lose the 21 moving average, we could continue to roll over. So let's actually leave this for now. Let's see what ends up happening. But if this turns into a right shoulder, then I think we'll get an inverted head and shoulder the other way to test this 200 moving average. Let's take a look at the 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame here, the stochastics are getting toppy. The RSI looks like it wants to roll over. We are above the 21 moving average, but ultimately we need to get back above this 200 moving average. That's at around the 140. Again, can we make the inverted head and shoulder, left shoulder, head? If we could stay above this 21 moving average, we could make that right shoulder, and then we could blast up. So let's see what happens. The only thing is that the stochastics are toppy, so this looks like it could roll over, but that could be for us to make this right shoulder. So keep that in mind, guys. Let's take a look at the 1 hour. The 1 hour does show like we want to come down, heavy resistance on the 200 moving average here. Now let's see if we could ride this 21 moving average. As the 21 moving average comes up, we start riding it with the candles, and maybe we could pierce this 200 moving average. All right, guys, so let's take a look now at Microsoft. Take a look at it from the monthly, and the stochastics here were on the way up. It looks like we want to roll over now. We lost the 21 moving average. We had a big red engulfing candle in the month of June. We even got below the 50 moving average and we went down to about 349. Right now the price of Microsoft is at 390, and we're starting to get a green candle. Can we go back and touch this 21 moving average at 440? Ultimately, I believe we went as high as $555. The only thing I'm not liking is that we are below the 50 on the RSI, and these stochastics look like they want to roll over. But I am liking that we're starting to get a bounce above this 50 moving average. Let's see how July closes. Let's take a look at the weekly. The weekly, we did lose the 200 moving average briefly, but look, stochastics are starting to roll back up. RSI is pointing up. Tweezer bottoms here. This could end up being a double bottom here. If we could get back above the 200 and the 21 moving average, ultimately we need to get back above $400, and we got to come back and test the 50 moving average at 554. If we could do that, and let's just say that this ends up being a double bottom just for the kicks of it. Let's see, one bottom, and let's say this rounds back up. This will be the second bottom. This measure move could take us, let's see, to where? So this could take us all the way back, look at that, to about 575, 578. So hopefully this ends up being some type of a double bottom, and it does play out. Let's see what ends up happening. I'm liking that the stochastics are starting to turn up. Now, if we could get back above the 50 on this RSI, then maybe this double bottom could end up playing out. Let's see how the next couple of weeks play out here. Let's take a look at the daily chart. The daily chart, the stochastics are starting to get a little toppy. We haven't been able to get above the 50 on the RSI. And we're playing around with this 21 moving average. This was bad. This was a big rejection off of the 50 moving average. And look at off of the 200 moving average. Look at all these red candles since then. Now we're trying to do some type of V-shaped recovery. We ultimately have to get back above the 50. We could get back above the 50, then we could test this 200 moving average again. But these stochastics are getting a little toppy. Maybe we could drag here, kind of like we did here for a little bit, and we could go and test this 200 moving average again. Take a look at the 4-hour time frame. Still below the 200 moving average. We are above the 21, but ultimately on the 4-hour, we always want to stay above this 200 moving average. That's currently at $400. So that's where heavy resistance is. If we could get through $400, then we could go back and test this area over here, which was at around 450, 460, around there. Take a look at the 1-hour time frame. See, the stochastics are toppy here. I'm not liking this. We got one top, we didn't go all the way down. Another top, and then another top. We're below the 200. That's kind of bearish. We're probably going to fall to the 21 moving average. Now, this is going to be the test. 21 moving average is at $382. If we lose this 21 moving average, we're probably going to go and test this 50 moving average, which is at 373. And hopefully we don't lose that. If we go down to this 21 moving average, this is going to be kind of like a double top. And then we're probably going to go lower. So right now, the key to victory for Microsoft is getting above the $400 level. If we could do that, we could start seeing if we could get to 430, 450, and then ultimately back to 500 and more. All right, guys, so we have one more stock. Let's take a look at IBM. Started it off here with the monthly chart. And on the monthly chart, we see that the stochastics are on the way up. The RSI is above the 50. That's pretty good. Now, in the month of June, we fell all the way down to $243. Right now, IBM is at 289. So we got a pump up since then. I'm liking this wick though, because with this wick, we were able to stay above the 21 moving average at 265. So that's bullish. And right now we're getting a green candle. Let's see if we could eat back this red candle and get bullish and get above all these wicks. This is where there's going to be heavy resistance pretty much at $306. If we could get above this, we could go up higher. Now let's take a look at the weekly time frame. Weekly time frame, we just got back above the 50. So I'm not as bearish anymore on IBM here. And look at the stochastic RSI. If we zoom in, they were on the way down, but look, I'm starting to see some curvature, like we want to move back up here. So if we're able to bounce back up, we could probably continue going up here. Let me see if I have any patterns. Yeah, I do kind of have this in a falling wedge. This is, let me see on the daily time frame. Yeah, it's perfect. So technically, we're already breaking out from this falling wedge. So I gave this here at around 269, and right now we went up as high as 282. So that's a nice little chunk of change here. Ultimately, this falling wedge would take us all the way back up. Let's see, measure move to about 345. So we're still in play for this. The only thing now is that the stochastics are getting a little toppy. Now we did get back above the 200 moving average, above the 21 moving average. We have some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 consecutive green candles in a row. So that's pretty bullish. If we reset here on the stochastics RSI and we could stay above this 21 moving average at 275, then I feel like this falling wedge could end up playing out eventually. Now, maybe we don't roll all the way down. Maybe we roll over, come back up, and we drag it here for a while. We just need to stay above this 221 moving average. If so, it's possible that this falling wedge measure move does play out. Let's take a look at the 4-hour time frame here. And on the 4-hour time frames, the stochastics are toppy, but this is kind of giving me some vibes like we want to make one more hump up. We are above the 50, the 21, pretty much all the moving averages. So the 4-hour time frame is not looking too bad. This is kind of flagging out here. This looks to me like we could possibly make a move back up above $300. Take a look at the 1-hour time frame. We are also above the 21 moving average. So that is bullish. We're above the 200 moving average. The stochastics are low. This kind of looks like it wants to roll over. So if we do lose the 21 moving average, we should have good support here at the 200 moving average at 275. So for IBM, it looks like if we drop down, we might bounce off of 275, have that support if we can. And if we could break back above $300, I feel like that falling wedge on the daily can end up playing out, and maybe we do make it to $345. So let's see what ends up happening. All right, guys, so that's the end of the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Now, if you guys have any stocks or crypto that you want me to go over, leave it in the chat, leave it in the comment section. And for the next live, I'll go over it, or I can make possibly a personalized episode for it during the week. All right, guys, so that's the breakdown. Enjoy your night.